everyone, Arlene here. Welcome back to my Country Craft Corner. How in the world are you guys doing today? It is so good to see you again, and thank you so much for stopping back by to see what I'm up to. And what I'm up to today is to put another little bow in my Bow Making 101 series. And I don't have any plans for this bow. Every other bow of the funky bows that I've made in this series, I've had a plan for it. But for this bow, I really don't have a plan for it, and this is probably not going to be a very long video. And I don't want it to be a long, drawn-out video. This is a simple bow that is perfect for the beginning crafter, and it's perfect for somebody who doesn't have very strong hands and who doesn't want to have to hold on to a bunch of ribbons and manipulate a lot of ribbons in their hand. So I am going to make a 4-loop, almost said funky, a 4-looped tiered bow today. Let me see if I can find some pictures for you guys of some of the wreaths that let me see if I can find some pictures for you guys of some places where I've used the tiered bow before, and I'll just be flashing them up here as I'm chatting with you. This is a bow that I learned how to make years and years. I really kind of taught myself how to make it years and years, literally decades ago. This was the very first bow I made, and it was the only bow I made with different number of loops in it for years and years and years until I started making, I taught myself kind of how to make the round bow. And if y'all can't tell, I'm kind of procrastinating on doing that for my series here, just because I don't think I'm in any way an expert at the round bow. I mean, I will make it for you in another video, but I'll show you how I make them, but you know, I am by no means an expert at that bow. But this little tiered bow has served me well through the years. It really has. The only thing that I didn't like about it so much is that I couldn't make it big and bold, you know, like those funky bows get. The funky bow satisfied that urge in me to make the bows bigger and bolder and more, you know, and whereas the tiered bow it's more of a sweet bow. It's more of a true accent bow. This might be a cute bow to stick into the edge of a arrangement, a centerpiece, you know, just flowing with the tails flowing out. Wreaths are a very good place to put the tiered bow, you know. But anyway, let me quit yammering, and we're gonna get started making this 4-loop tiered bow. You give me a sip of tea here. Hang on. Spring is springing around here, and I don't know whether you can see my eyes. They're a little red, and my nose is running. And they always say for people who who didn't grow up in this area, that if you live here long enough, you'll come up with some allergies. And I really believe that I have in recent years, because things are really starting to bloom and come out, and my eyes have been watering. I've been feeling crappy, you know. I feel okay in the morning, and I get to the evening and it's like, stuffed up and stuff. I'm not complaining. I'm just like, it is just what it is, you know. Sorry, not much stops me though. You know that. All right, I need to move my camera over here a little bit so that you guys can watch me work. I'm gonna point you this direction. Like I said, I don't have anywhere specific to put this bow. Excuse me, right now. So I'm just gonna make it in a neutral kind of burlap so that I'll be able to put this, you know, with anything. And I found this ribbon. Where did I get the Simply Spring? Goodness gracious, y'all. I think I got this at AC Moore, I believe. And it's got two of my favorite things, lace and polka dots. I love me some lace, and I love me some polka dots. So there we go. This is wired ribbon, and again, I highly recommend that you use a wired ribbon in this bow. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I have a pipe cleaner here, is just unroll it off of the bolt some. And you know, I usually take a good bit. Okay, so this is going to be a 4-loop, 3-tailed tiered bow. And you can tweak this bow very easily. You can do more loops on it or less loops on it, less tails on it. You can add more tails if you want. This is, you know, it's easily manipulated. So you hold on to your loops, much like I do with my funky bow with my non-dominant hand, my left hand. So hold the ribbon in your non-dominant hand, the hand that you don't write with, you know. My left, for me, it's my left hand. I'm right-handed. So put the edge of the ribbon right in that hand like that and hold it with your thumb. Make your first loop. Pull this from the bolt here, from the roll. Pull this under. And you're going to try to eyeball how big you think you might want your first tier of loops to be. I'm going to start out about that big. And then I'm going to pull this side around this way. And then I'm going to let those two pieces of ribbon overlap one another. And that is a little large for my taste. There we go, to start it out. But I'm going to let them overlap like that, and I'm going to pinch these together. See that? So that gives me the first 2 loops in my tiered bow. Now we're going to make the center of the bow. We're going to make the center loop in the bow. So you're going to, this is one-sided ribbon, so you're going to need to twist your ribbon. And then I just twist it right around my forefinger. See that? I just twist it right around there, and then I catch it on the edge. See the edge underneath there? I catch it and I accordion it together. One important thing is don't pull it this way towards you. Make sure that when you're accordioning it together that you kind of try to keep it in a straight line, or you're going to end up with a loop that is not quite what you might want. It might be bigger in the bottom or smaller in the bottom if you neck it down. So try to keep that even as you accordion it in underneath there. So there we go. There's our first 2 loops in our tiered bow. I call it a 4-loop tiered bow because this loop it's not going to be the literal amount of loops in this bow. I call it a 4-loop tiered bow because I'm going to have 4 loops on each side of center. Unlike a funky bow is, you know, there's really not, there's a center when I'm making it, but once you fluff it, the center kind of disappears on that bow. So, but this bow, the center will always be prominent, you know. So I'm going to have 4 loops on either side of center. So you can see it's fed out going the wrong direction. So we need to twist. So we twist. And we bring that right side up. Okay, now we're going to make our next loop in this tier. And I'm going to make it about a 1/2 inch longer. I don't measure, I just eyeball it. About a 1/2 inch longer than the loop before. And I flatten out the loops kind of, you know, to make sure that I'm only about a 1/2 inch longer. And I turn it under and accordion it together. See that underneath? Okay, you can see that it's fed out this side upside down too. So I need to twist. And then I'm going to go ahead and make a loop. And again, I'm eyeballing it. If you want to measure, you can, but I really don't measure. Pulling it kind of flat and making it about a 1/2 inch longer than the one before. So there's our second tier. See that? And again, it's fed upside down, so we need to twist and make our third loop again. No more than a 1/2 inch. You don't have to be that precise because you can always tweak it with the fluffing, you know. The fluffing hides a myriad of issues. Again, we're coming out upside down, twist, and make a loop. And accordion it in there. Now on this bow too, you can see that it's kind of moving back into the crook of my fingers. I do not have big hands, again, and I'm letting it move. But I am squeezing this one pretty tight, you know. All right, so, Again, it's fed out the way you need it to be fed. So our last loop, fold it under, same thing, about a ½ inch longer than the one before it, and it's coming out upside down, twist, and one more loop. Oop, that's too big. There we go. And accordion it in there. Now, so that gives us 4 loops on each side of center. So now what I want to do is go ahead and twist. And I'm going to make 3 kind of longish tails. So I want to just grab it kind of on the back side and twist it up. And that makes, and I'm going to accordion it in there just like I did the loops. That gives me 1, 2, and then this will be my 3rd loop. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I go ahead and cut it off of the bolt here, the roll. Grab my pipe cleaner, and I'm going to feed it underneath the loop, but over my thumb and not through my thumb ring. I have done that so many times. Go to about the center point in your pipe cleaner and lift your thumb and kind of snug that underneath your thumb. Pull the bottom around the bottom and through that big loop, and the top around the top, trying to center that pipe cleaner like in that bow. Okay, and then the same thing, you use the hand that you're holding the bow shut as resistance and pull against it and get these fingers up and twist, twist, twist. I twist both the bow and the pipe cleaner. Okay, so there we go. Now that doesn't look wonderful yet, but guess what? We need to spend some time fluffing. Let me cut this in half. I'll show you how I do my tails too. But again, just fluff, 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 and make it big and pretty. And as you can see, this is not a huge bow. Now you can make it bigger, but I find that it loses its shape. When you add more and more and more and more tails, yes, it looks tiered, but it looks, I don't like it as much as when I just keep it at 3 or 4 loops. So I use this bow, not a lot, you know, but I do use it sometimes. I used it out on my front porch. You all saw it out there. I used one there, you know, and that was a very pretty place out on that little post out on my porch to use it. So there we go, and don't forget to fluff your little center loop. So there we go. 4 loop tiered bow. Super pretty, super soft, I think of this as a very feminine bow, you know, I don't know. I just think it's a sweet bow. All right, now the way I do my tails is I lay them out in front of me here. Just like that. And I cut the middle one into a dove's tail. I just turn it. And I'm going to do it the opposite way of how I've been teaching you guys, just because this is the way this bow is sitting. So I go to the edge and cut up, making sure not to cut into my finger. Put that blade up above your finger, and it gives us a nice dove's tail. And then I don't do dovetail on these sides. I come down here and I kind of go right above where the tip kind of moves down, and I cut this one on an angle up, and then I try to match it on this side, cutting it at a bit of a different angle. And I cut that one too short. Whoops. And that made the center one too long. See that? Be careful when you're cutting. There we go. There we go. Isn't that a sweet bow? I tell you, I just love this little bow. I think it's very pretty. And again, I don't know where you guys will happen to see this moving forward, but I guarantee you I'll put it somewhere. It'll be hanging somewhere. All right, let me come back with some final words, and that does it for our tiered bow tutorial today. Alrighty, there it is. Pretty tiered bow in the polka dot and lace. Isn't that pretty? I just love it. Let me go into some final words here. Thank you guys again for stopping by, and I hope that all is well with everyone. And for those of you who might be struggling or suffering with a catastrophic illness or chronic pain, I hope you have someone there with you, taking care of you. I'm gonna cry, goodness, sorry. Helping you get through each day, making the very, very best out of each day. I hope there's nothing weighing on your minds or your hearts, pulling your attention away from where you want it to be or from where it should be. I love y'all to bits, to bits, to bits, hugs all around. And I keep you in my thoughts and my prayers every single day. And with all that said, I'll just say, until next time, y'all take good care. Bye-bye.